Congratulations on being admitted to one of the New York City Department of Education's alternative certification programs. If you're watching this screencast, it's probably because you are getting ready to register for your EAS, the Educating All Students exam, and your CST, the Content Specialty Test. This short screencast will walk you through how to do that on the New York State Teacher Certification Exam website, as well as how to upload proof of doing that to your checklist. So let's get started. Before we talk specifically about testing, we'll just go through where we are in the process. At this point, you've already received an offer from us. We hope that you've taken advantage of attending one of our in-person accepted applicant events. You've accepted our offer, registered for, and maybe some of you have taken the GRE already to get adjusted to computer-based testing. You may or may not have gotten the email to come in and get fingerprinted, as well as clear background check. You have received an email about completing online certification coursework via Blackboard, and now you're ready to register for the EAS and CST exam. At this point in your onboarding, we're excited that you're thinking about testing and have receiving your university assignment to look forward to, as well as attending your subject area networking night, and then getting ready to start training. So let's talk a little bit about EAS and CST registration. So first, would ask that you read the suggested testing timeline in the materials that you've already received specific to your program. For every program, what we really try to be intentional about is giving everyone 2 windows of opportunity to take the exams prior to the time that you begin teaching as a full-time New York City Department of Education employee. We know that training is really intense, and we know that once you start your first year of teaching, that will also be really intense. So we suggest, if possible, you take the exams prior to the time that you start training and prior to the time that you start teaching. Ideally, we want you to have passed all of your exams prior to the start of teaching in the classroom. And so we carve out 2 windows of time where we recommend you take the exams. Our intent being is that if you receive scores after taking an exam the first time and do not pass, you have the ability to retake the exam and pass prior to the start of your time in the classroom. Step 2 is we encourage you to log on to the New York State Teacher Certification Exam website and explore practice questions to determine how much time you'll need to prepare. As I'm sure you can imagine, people are coming to our programs with varying experiences from prior to the time that they were applied to and accepted to one of our alternative certification programs. That said, everyone will need a different level of preparation for each exam, so while we recommend spending no less than 3 to 6 hours studying for each exam, for some people you might need a lot more time, and for some people you might need a lot less time. The best way to know is by looking at the New York State Teacher Certification Exam website itself and looking at some practice questions. So I'll now share with you how to navigate to that website. So if you navigate to nystce.neinc.com, you will see the New York State Teacher Certification Exam website. If you navigate on the top bar to Tests and click on Tests, you will then see a list of exams that are available for you to click on. So because everyone has to take the Educating All Students exam, let's start there. EAS test code 201. And on each page, it shares the format of the exam, the amount of time, test dates, test sites, notes about the exam, the fee, score reporting, testing policies, alternative testing arrangement information, and preparation materials. So let's start by looking at some preparation materials. So on each preparation materials page, you'll be able to find the test framework, a brief study guide with sample questions, as well as some videos and tutorials. You also have the option of purchasing a full-length practice test if you so choose. every exam listed on this website has those options available under preparation materials. Step 3, take a look at testing and score reporting windows for each exam. So back on the New York State Teacher Certification Exam website, if you look back at the EAS, you can clearly see that test dates and test sites are two options that you can click on prior to scheduling the exam. The most important thing to look at when determining when to take your exam, however, are the score reporting dates. The reason why is because those score reporting dates will determine whether or not you'll be able to have multiple opportunities to take the exam prior to the start of teaching. So for example, if you were in our fall program and you're scheduled to start teaching in January, if you took the exam in this December report period, you wouldn't get your test result until the end of January. So the EAS score reports are given fairly frequently. They're every 2 to 3 weeks or so. However, the CST score reporting windows tend to be a little more infrequent, so definitely do encourage you to check the score report windows prior to scheduling. For example, many of our special educators will take the multi-subject CST, and the multi-subject CST, some of the parts have relatively infrequent score dates, so this is just important to keep in mind when scheduling your exams. Step 4, you'll want to check exam availability. Do know that you can't miss pre-service training to take exams. They don't count as an excused absence, so we highly recommend testing on the weekends or on days when the DOE does not have school. Next, we encourage you to check appointment availability. When you check appointment availability, you'll navigate to another site that is specific to test centers. You'll be asked for the specific exam that you are going to be taking, so I plugged in the ELA CST for those aspiring English teachers. I typed in a zip code and then all of the testing centers available populated. From there, you can click on test center information and learn more about the specific test center, where it's located, how you can get there, what the parking situation is, etc., prior to making a decision. Then you'll be able to register for the exam at the test center of your choice. Finally, you'll want to upload proof of registration for the correct exams onto TeacherTrack. Because we know that there are a lot of exams, we have our program team check that you've registered for the correct exams and that you've provided yourself ample time to test twice should you choose. Here is your TeacherTrack checklist. So once you've registered for your exams, say you've registered for the multi-subject CST, you click on that multi-subject CST item, click Manage Uploads, choose the file that shows your registration, upload your file. Be sure to hit both Save and then also be sure to hit Submit. The reason why it's important to hit Submit is because our program team won't actually be able to see what you've uploaded until you hit Submit. Once you hit Submit, you'll notice that the item says Pending Review. That will trigger our program team to log into TeacherTrack and review the item. Now, let's take a look at what I uploaded. So here is the proof of exam registration that I uploaded. Note that I did cut out the name of the individual to preserve anonymity. However, here you can see the exam. It's the multi-subject for secondary educators. I can see all 3 exam modules. It's okay if you register to take them on different days. Just be sure to upload all 3 attachments. I can see the appointment date and I can see the location that the individual is registered to take the exams. That gives us sufficient information to be able to guide this individual to say, yes, you've registered for the correct exam, or no, you have not registered for the correct exam. If you'll notice, this person was actually slated to teach elementary special education bilingual, so they would have registered for the incorrect exam because they registered for the multi-subject for secondary educators. This is actually a fairly common mistake that we see, and one that I wanted to use this opportunity to highlight. So if you are registering for the elementary CST, be sure to register for 221, 222, and 245. And if you're registering for the secondary CST, be sure to register for 241, 242, and 245. That is all about testing and uploading testing information to your checklist. Once you've taken the exam, you'll of course upload passing results to your checklist, and we will confirm receipt of those as well. Thanks so much for watching.